Welcome to the first episode of the Wake Up to Your Life podcast on WCNC Plus, baby. I'm your host, Colleen Odegaard. Delighted to be doing this show with you. What is Wake Up to Your Life? When you come here to WCNC Plus and you click play and you decide to watch and listen to this podcast, what are you going to get? That's what you want to know, right? Real conversation, authentic conversation about personal growth and what it really takes to create a life that you feel good about, or that makes you just a little smidge happier, live a little bit better, be less of a jerk, ways that we can all take better care of our own hearts and lives and those around us. Because don't you think we all need that right now? That's what we're going to talk about. I launched this podcast in 2021 on all the podcast platforms, Apple and Spotify and all the places you find podcasts. And it was doing very well. And I've always tried to mix inspiration and motivation. By the way, I call myself a semi-depressed motivational speaker because it's kind of the truth. But I try to mix that with real talk. I use myself as the guinea pig. I share real stories from my life about ways that I really get what it takes to do the work that you have to do to create real change in your life. Personal development is not about perfection, not at all, no perfect people. It's about awareness and courage and small changes that really add up to a big difference. And when I say courage, remember this: everything that you want in your life is on the other side of a brave decision. Why should you listen to me? Heck if I know, but I'll tell you a little bit about my background. You know, I've been a journalist since back in the early 1800s. I've been here forever. I've been a journalist for a really long time. I'm also a certified life coach, which I know sounds so dumb dodo. I hate that title, life coach, because you're thinking, like, what makes you an expert at life? I'm not. But I did get certified as a life coach at the Life Purpose Institute in San Diego, California, for what that's worth, just so you know a little bit about that. And this is really what I study and what I've helped a lot of other people through. I'm not giving you advice, merely making suggestions. Take what you will, and I'll use examples from my own life. So today we're talking about reinvention at any age. Reinventing yourself, a renewal, a rebirth, if you will, reinvention at any age. And what I know about reinvention is a very personal story. You know, I've had been a TV personality forever in Charlotte, a wife, a mother, and I went from all of those things to all of those things were gone. I stopped working at WCNC for almost 5 years. I became an empty nester. My kids graduated, went off to college, and my husband, who I'd been with for 23 years, decided on a Monday to tell me he didn't want to be married anymore. This was on his way out the door when he was going to work. So my life looked very different, and I was terrified. And everything I'd known about my life completely looked different. And I've had several incarnations of this reinvention. So I get what this means. Sometimes you face reinvention because of what I like to call a life quake. Like for me, it was the divorce. It was the husband saying, I don't want to be married anymore. It was that. It can be divorced. It can be getting fired. It can be moving. It can be getting married, having a baby, becoming an empty nester. Those kinds of big moments in your life that force you into this, oh my gosh, my life looks different. Now what do I do? So what does reinvention actually mean? I can tell you what it does not mean. It does not necessarily mean quitting your job and moving across the country. It doesn't have to mean that. I think it can look much smaller. A lot of times it's internal work. It's how you see yourself. What holds most of us back from change? I think you know the answer to that. It's fear. Right? Fear of what other people are going to think. Oh God, other people's opinions. They hold so much weight, don't they? Or at least they can. I want to make the case as to why you shouldn't let them carry so much weight and how you can sort of release your grip on that. Fear of failure, fear of the financial costs of making certain changes, fail of social rejection, failure of that, fear of social rejection. These are the things that keep us from making changes. And a myth about reinvention, I would say, is that you're too old or you're too young, it's too early, it's not time. That's poppycock, darling. It's utter poppycock. It is silly. That's not true. If you have breath in your lungs, you can make a change and you can reinvent yourself should you decide that you want to do that. I have enlisted the help of my sweet producer, gorgeous Carleen Bragg.
Hi.
Here she is.
Thank
She's
you.
wearing her Shania t-shirt.
I am a woman that reinvents herself constantly.
Absolutely.
Shania Twain. She's my hero.
When I saw you walk in that T-shirt, I thought we are kindred spirits. So thank you. So chime in. Feel free to chime in anytime you like and ask me questions. But are you tracking with me so far?
Yes.
Is what I'm saying making sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
Reinvention. Okay. So first thing, if you want to reinvent yourself, let go of that idea that it's too late. Let go of the idea that it's not the right time. Reinvention isn't just something for younger people. There's so much to be gained if you are in midlife like I am. There's so much to be gained at starting over then because you know yourself so much more. Carleen and listeners, I can tell you this, who I was in my 20s is not who I am in my 50s. And I just am so much more comfortable in my skin in this incarnation of my body than I was back then. So you have a clearer picture of things that you want. Also, stop ruminating about life was better when. It is very easy if you have faced a life quake, like, you've broken up with your fiance, or you've gotten a divorce, or you got laid off from your job. And it's so easy to sit and think, God, it was so good when I had this, when the kids were home, when I was with that guy, when I was 20 pounds thinner, when I had that job, when I was making that money, when I lived in that house, in that apartment. Being stuck in that past, how does that make you feel?
I mean,
kind of crummy, right?
Crummy, awful, just like bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, if you're ruminating, right?
Yeah.
And so what I did when my life quake happened, when husband leaves, all I did was think, this was on auto, like over and over again, and I would say, this is not supposed to be my life. I should not be living in this house in Ballantyne by myself. My kids left. We were supposed to sell this house, move up to Lake Norman, and live in a house together. And I was going to have my own business, life coaching and podcasting, and he was going to do his thing. And now some other woman is living my life. And that was the story I told myself for a good solid 3 years, I think, after he left. And I realized that was not helping me to move forward and reinvent myself. So how do you stop rumination? It's not, when people say, like, just don't think about that. That doesn't work for you. That's not good advice, right? So the way you stop rumination is through radical acceptance. Doesn't sound sexy, but hear me out. It wasn't until I said, oh, this is my life. Like, I do live by myself. With my dog part-time, because yes, we split custody of the dog. How messed up is that? So stupid.
Hey, that's not messed up.
It's not? Okay,
No,
okay.
no.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, but it was this acceptance of, no, this is what is. Stop hanging on to a belief, my life is supposed to be different. Right. My life is this. And thank God I have it, and thank God I can do something about it. So to stop rumination, practice radical acceptance of what is, and that doesn't mean resignation to a crappy life. It does not mean that. Acceptance doesn't mean you're going, well, this is my body, or this is my job, or this is my relationship, or this is my friendship situation. If you're not happy with it, accept what it is, and from that place, you can change. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to take a break right now. I'm going to go over the next thing you need to do if you're thinking about reinventing yourself in any stage of life. You're listening to Wake Up to Your Life. All right, on Wake Up to Your Life, we're talking about how to reinvent yourself at any age. The first thing I talked about is realizing that it's not too late, recognizing that, and accepting where you currently are. Second thing is even just simply recognizing that it's time for a change. Or asking yourself, are you stuck? I won't spend too much time on this. This is a quickie. Are you stuck? Do you have the blahs a lot of the time? Like, you just kind of like wake up and you're going through the motions of your day. It's not totally awful, but doesn't rock either. And you're like, this is all there is to life. You have the blahs. You just don't ever feel excited about anything. Maybe you have loss of purpose. You're wondering, why do I go to this godforsaken job every day when it doesn't even matter what I'm doing? Is my work making a difference? Is it of significance to anybody? Are these children even listening to me? Do my employees like me? I think my boss hates me. All of that. You've lost sense of purpose. You don't know why it is that you do what you're doing. Or perhaps it's those major life changes that we talked about. Maybe these are all signs that it's time for a change. Right before we went to the break, though, when I was talking about acceptance, producer Carleen in the Shania t-shirt, yes, you brought up something very interesting to me, which was, if you don't mind sharing with our viewers and listeners.
I hold on to old clothes, like old clothes.
Mm-hmm. Like how old? Like college days old?
College days old, that I was teeny weeny and you're out drinking all the time, whatever, and it didn't matter because you were this skinny. And
Right.
I hold on to these clothes thinking, I'll get down to that size again. I'm never going to get down to that size again. I know that in my logical brain, but I still have an emotional attachment to it.
And you're hanging on to them with the wish that you could fit into them?
100%.
Okay. So I always tell people that's part of that acceptance, right?
Yeah.
This is accepting, this is the size of my body now, which is beautiful, by the way.
Thank
You're
you.
gorgeous. You've got a beautiful body. You should feel good about that. You're
you.
really, and I'm not just saying that, but you need to know that. I can
Right.
sit here and say this to you. Your boyfriend can say it to you. Your friends can, your mom can say it to you. But if you don't believe it, it doesn't matter, right? But it's the acceptance of this is today's present body, right? Thank God I'm healthy, that I can get up and walk up and down the stairs. I can
Right.
do all these things. Don't have clothes in your closet that hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
If your itty bitty, teeny tiny baby Gap jeans are hurting your feelings, get rid of them.
Yeah.
Give them to somebody else who can wear them right now. Bless and release, and let that be a blessing to somebody else. And accepting this is my body where I am now. It's not to say that if you don't decide, like, you know what, I would like to run a half marathon, or I would like to gain more muscle mass. I'm going to take another Orange Theory class from Brittany Van Voorhees, whatever it is, right? You can do those things, but we do it from a place of love and acceptance of oneself.
Right.
Make sense?
Yes.
So that's what I mean about that acceptance when
I
it comes
need
to
to-
reinventing yourself.
I just need to go in and I need to do the just
Yeah.
donate pile.
Yeah.
Donate pile. It's
Get-
just hard. It's hard to bring yourself
It
to
is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. But remember, you want your closet to, you want to walk in and go, I have a closet full of clothes that look good on my present day body. God, I love having all these options.
Yeah.
As opposed to the ones that hurt your feelings because they're staring at you. And you wore them when you were 19 years old.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm not 19.
It's not realistic to think that your body today is going to be the same as your body it was at 19. It's just not. So keep that in mind when it comes to reinvention. Again, if it's about your physical appearance.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, right? But we do it from a place of acceptance. Start small. That's the third thing. If you're looking to reinvent yourself, start small. Don't, like I said, don't quit. Don't say, Colleen told me to quit my job and move across the country. No, she didn't. I
Tell
didn't
you
say
eat, pray,
that.
love. She didn't tell you to do any of that. She didn't tell you to go on a whirlwind adventure. She did not.
Thank you, girl. Thank you, Carleen. Carleen and Colleen, doesn't that have a ring to
It
it?
has a ring.
I'm
Why
kind of
haven't we
feeling
done
this
earlier.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know, but thank you, WCNC.
They've been holding us down, and now we're here.
I've been like a caged bird, baby. I got to take the lid off. Let me loose. Let me loose. But start small. Make those micro changes, several micro changes over time. That's how you begin to change your life. It's not big and grandiose and sexy. It could be. Maybe it is. Maybe it is picking up and moving somewhere far away. But it doesn't have to be that to reinvent yourself. All right, these are the two big things when it comes to reinvention. Face the fear. So we talked about that at the beginning, right? When we came on and started the show, we talked about the fear that we face when we want to do something new or try something different. We are afraid of failing. We are afraid of judgment, what people will think. We're worried about money. What will my mom say? What will my husband say? Worried about all of that. How do you build confidence when you're starting something new?
You fake it till you make it? That's always, is that an
People like
option?
it is an option. People like, I'm not a super huge fan of that one.
Okay.
I'm more about embrace the suck. Be willing to suck at something so bad and know that it's part of it.
Yeah.
Know that that's part of it. My son Alden, who is 22 years old, about
Okay.
to graduate from UNC, Chapel Hill.
Congrats.
Since he has inspired me since he was 4 years old, because he has this quality that I did not give to him. It's innate in him. He was always willing to try stuff and be terrible and make a fool of himself and risk getting made fun of. He would try out for plays. He was always a real mouth breather, asthmatic kid, talked really nasal, he talked like this. And he would try out for the plays at school and he would sing and he'd say the girls were making fun of me because I sounded nasal. I said, oh, but my mama heart was like, I want to hurt these girls, But I'd say, oh, how did that make you feel? Well, it hurt my feelings, but you know what? I'm going to try again, is what he would say. And I thought, well, I'll be like, this kid inspires me. He was in elementary school when he was doing that. He's always been willing to look foolish, ask questions, be the worst one in the room. And now he's top of his class and he's got a job upon graduation. It's a great quality to have. So if you want to build confidence when you're trying something new, be willing to embrace the suck.
You're going to fall.
You are going to fall. And what is failure really? Failure is simply not getting the result of something that you set out to get. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean you're a loser. It doesn't mean you're too old or too fat or not attractive enough or not rich enough or not smart enough or not talented enough. It just means you didn't get the result you wanted. Should I try it a different way? Do I just need more practice? That's all that it means. How do you talk to yourself after a failure? That's the key, right? The fact that my little kid could get up and try again, go out for the, baseball team again. He was a little guy too. He was always shortest one in his class. He'd still try out for sports teams. Like he was just relentless in it. And to me, that was always the victory. Yeah. It wasn't about being the star of the show. It was that he just got up and tried again. So you build confidence by taking chances and doing stuff even if you fail. How do you move forward when fear is holding you back? Know the fear will be present. If you're going to apply for a new job, you're going to start a podcast, you're going to write a book, you want to launch that speaking career, you want to ask someone out on a date. Don't wait for the fear to go away. Just because fear is present, that's not an indication that you're supposed to stop doing it. We think that, right?
Yeah.
You're doing something and, I'm so scared, maybe I'm not supposed to. No, that's your mind playing a trick on you. You feel the fear, but you take an action anyway. Everything you want is on the other side of a brave decision, right? Is it not? Everything you want. That relationship, the love you want, the job you want, the raise, the thing you want to, playing pickleball, whatever it is. It's taking that first brave decision like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to step out on this pickleball court. I'm going to make a fool of myself. Yeah, awesome. Now you can be a pickleball star, right? Everything you want's on the other side of that. Turn and face it. Befriend the fear, right? You can say like, okay, hi fear. This sounds weird, but I do this. I talk to myself a lot. Like you turn to it and you go, okay, like I'm going to relaunch Wake Up to Your Life on WCNC Plus. Oh my God, I'm nervous about it. I'm scared. I told Carleen before we hit record, I was nervous, right?
I said, why?
I don't know. I just
it's like you're so vivacious and you're the life of the room. So to me, you being scared of something like this is like I couldn't imagine that. But that's
isn't it funny how we see other people from how we see ourselves, right? Because I do feel nervous. But facing the fear. We'll take a break. On the other side of this break, I'll talk about what it looks like to really face your fear. Welcome back to Wake Up to Your Life. We're talking about reinventing yourself at any age. Right before the break, I talked about facing the fear. If you're going to reinvent yourself, you have to face what is making you afraid. One of the things I said is turn toward your fear and face it quite literally. And what I mean by that is, the first time I had to start dating again after my divorce, right? I've been with the same man for 23 years. I haven't been on a date since hadn't been on a date since my 20s. Very scary. And I kept saying no because I was too scared to put myself out there. I was scared of everybody. And I thought, well, I actually want to fall in love again. I'm not going to fall in love again if I don't go on dates. I would actually say to my fear, like, okay, hi fear, I see you're there. You're trying to protect me and keep me safe. But you know what? I hope to find great big swinging from the chandelier type of love again. I hope to find, that wasn't sexual, by the way. I'm just saying, I hope to find like great big love. Yeah. That's what I meant. Okay.
Storybook.
All right. Sorry. Storybook. Yeah. And to do that, I knew that I had to do the scary thing, which is put myself out there and say, like, I'm ready to date, meaning dating apps, telling people I wanted to be set up, those kinds of things. And so I turned to my fear and I said, okay, I see that you're there trying to protect me. Thank you for that. You just take a back seat, and grown up Colleen is going to take the driver's seat, and I got it. So even sort of befriending your fear, knowing it's there, don't wish it away, don't get angry at it. Just look at it and go, hi, I see you, and I'm choosing to do this thing anyway. So facing your fears. Fifth step when it comes to reinventing yourself at any age, and this is the most important one. I probably should have started here. I buried the lead, as we say in the TV biz. But it's your mindset. You can't do a whole lot of good stuff in your life if your mindset is all janky and jacked up. It's just not going to happen, right? So get honest with yourself about what isn't working in your life. If you know you're eating Doritos and you're not exercising and you eat fast food several times a week and you're not happy with your health, okay, admit, like, okay, I may need to make some changes to my eating habits and my movement throughout the day, right? Be honest what's not working. Decide what you want instead. Take one small brave action, itty bitty baby tiny baby step, eensy teensy weensy step, and then build a support system. So again, when it comes to your mindset, I would say the way you talk to yourself, it's everything, right? So those thoughts that are running through your brain, my thoughts that were running through my brain when I had quit WCNC in 2020, and then 5 months later is when my husband left, and I literally fell apart. And here were the things that I said to myself. I can't run my business anymore because I can't, I'm too depressed. No man is ever going to want me because I'm old, too old. I've lost that. Men don't want women my age. They want women in their 30s. They don't want women in their 50s. Who's going to hire me now? I need a real job because I lost health insurance and 401k when I got divorced, right? And those things become very attractive and sexy. And I was working for myself. I didn't have those things. So who's going to hire me? I mean, I'm just this washed up TV chick. Like, no one wants me. How do you think I felt walking around with thoughts like that in my mind? Felt really, really bad. When you feel really bad, what do? I would drink another glass of wine. I would eat chips. I would eat cookies. I would eat ice cream. I would buy something, shop online. Do those things get you any closer to reinventing yourself or creating the life that you want? They do not. They provide some temporary relief, right? I was in so much pain. I believed it had to be anesthetized, that I just couldn't face it. But you know what? You can when you sit with it and you just go, this is uncomfortable. I'm having all these thoughts that, men won't find me attractive and I'm never going to fall in love again because no one wants women my age. I had to change that belief. Like, no, actually, there are men my age who want to date women their age, and it's age appropriate. And by the way, I do have that great big love now in my life, which is really great. And he's age appropriate. He's 1 year older than me. Thank you. But it took doing all of the stuff that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, that's how we got here. So notice when you are talking to yourself in that negative bully, inner critic voice. Notice when it's there. It's often playing so much that we're accustomed to it that we don't even notice it, right? We're just sort of used to it being there, that we're immune to it. But you're not impervious to it, because if that's what's running the show in your head all the time, you're not going to show up fully you, fully alive. And we need more of us, all of us, living from the place that is what's best and most beautiful in us.
Right. I have a question.
Yes.
So I feel like for a lot of people, especially like in today's world, I mean, we're all busy. Some people are just, what if you're at the end of the day, you feel just tired?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People are just tired.
Oh my God, I'm so tired. I'm tired right now.
Changing your thoughts and changing your mindset, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And that's really tiring. What do you tell those people?
Yeah, great question, Carleen. I'd say, you know what else is tiring? Living a life that sucks out loud. Living a life that is not suiting you. Living a life that is just where you have that blah feeling. Or maybe you're quite miserable. Maybe you're a little down in the dumps. Maybe you're depressed. That's also tiring. Mm-hmm. So which kind of tired do you want to be? And even when it comes to thought formation and working, like training your mind and your brain, research shows, this isn't just Colleen Odegaard saying this, is research shows that, small changes and small increments of time, 5 minutes, 3 minutes a day of just noticing, oh my gosh, my brain was filled with thoughts like my podcast was going to stink and no one was going to listen to it. Isn't that interesting that was the thought that I had? Could I believe that maybe someone would find this useful? Yeah, maybe someone will find this useful. That's a thought shift right there. And see how quick you start. The more you practice, the easier it gets to do in real time. And it's not this like, I've got to work on myself thing and I'm going to journal and you don't have to do all that.
Right.
Right? So I get that you're tired, but living a life that doesn't suit you is also tiring. It's also tiring.
Sense.
So I know
Small
that
things.
Small things. Small things. I know. I wish it were more exciting to say like, yes, 2 weeks to a new you, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that. That doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen.
That's not the world we live in.
No. See, I will keep it real at all times. But if you want to feel just a little bit better, do that one brave thing this week. Think about what that is. What's something that would give you life that like you just do, like you just love it because you just, like maybe it's listening to live music.
Yeah.
Yet you never go listen to live music. Maybe it's riding your bike, right? But you just don't do it because you're at work and then you got the kids and they want to eat 3 times a day, all that stuff. And you're like, I'm tired. I don't have time for myself.
Right.
Do that one thing, right? See if it breathes more life into you. That gets you closer to the right track. Right. But that is what it takes to reinvent your life at any age. So remember, letting go of the idea it's too late, recognizing when it's time for a change, starting small, face your fear, get up, cozy up with it, spoon it, caress it, cradle it. Let it be there, but take action anyway, and then getting your mindset right. These are things you can do. You have been listening to Wake Up to Your Life with Colleen and Carleen.
Yeah.
I love the sound of that. Thank you so much. I hope that this resonates with you. If it does, come back again next week. We'll be back for more.